So this is the footage from the old gray, and as you can see there, my goggles hit the camera mount, and it hits the camera downwards where it breaks the mount. I haven't figured it out yet, but I figured there's some interesting things to at least talk about in this, besides just the footage. So you see Josh come in here, slams into Steve. All the fastest guys in the class had troubles today. I don't know what happened, but just probably because they were hitting things a little too rough. There's lots of things that can mess you up during this race. So I podium in this race. I come in third. I could have won. So right here, coming up, my hand gets like jammed off of my handlebars right there, and that is when I lost power steering. I knew, like, coming up to the starting line that something wasn't right, and instead of trying to put it on buds and try and, you know, figure out what was wrong, I just kind of like ignored it because Seegers was racing in pro and I didn't want to ruin his day. But so I had no power steering through this entire race, so give me a break. I'll kind of talk through what happened, and I think I go from last place and I make my way all the way up to first. So it's a combination of things. It's a combination of other people screwing up, a combination of people braking, a combination of them not being conditioned for this track, overdoing it. But I just couldn't handle the no power steering thing. Just kind of wore me out. So the day before this race, me and Cody Collier walked the track, and Cody kind of gave me some interesting pointers about where to put my wheels, how to position my body, all of which I promptly ignored because I'm not as good of a rider as Cody, for, you know, obviously. But he did point out a couple of things that I did remember, and it helped me throughout the race. So this was easily the tightest race that we've had so far in GNCC. I would go as far as to say I think this is the tightest race I've ever experienced in GNCC since starting. The track was odd in that they stuffed a lot into quote-unquote 9 miles. It wasn't hot. When I got on the quad, I wasn't feeling good. I had, like, my diet the day before consisted of those little nerds that are like gummy nerds. They're pretty cool. Like, they stick nerds to gummies. And Miller Lite. So probably wasn't a great race prep the night before. So when I walked the track, I knew that it was extremely rocky. What I did not know was it was also extremely slick. The first lap and a half, there was a layer of slime or mud on top of the track, and there were parts where you could go fast, but the quad would start like drifting to one way. And there's one point, and I'm not going to leave it in because really after the first lap, there's nothing really that exciting, I don't think, in here. That's when the track kind of tacked up. But this was also, I venture to say, like the roughest track that we raced on too. Now Justin Wood had did my shocks the night before or a week before. Now Steve gets around this dude. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm like, if I can't stay with Steve, I'm in for a long day. The suspension, the way Justin had set it up, felt pretty good, and I knew I had one opportunity to pass this cat coming up here, and I just wasn't fast enough. I just wasn't aggressive enough or fast enough. And it cost me. It cost me. It cost me to like. I don't want to say that this is the, coming up here is going to, the entire race, but it definitely cost me. Because this dude in the blue bumper here, I don't know who he is. He's a new guy. Came in second. So, yeah, see, I'm a little perturbed. Later, I end this video right where I catch first, and then I'm shutting it off because it's heartbreaking to me. But it's not that everyone in B class here doesn't know how to ride. You really couldn't hit this stuff that hard. There was only really so much you could do. I mean, you could hit it hard, but I don't know if your quad's going to survive. And I don't know if you can hear through the voiceover or not, but you're going to hear some clanks and stuff. Now here, I think I can make it between these two trees. And I was wrong. I was wrong. Not only did I not be able to make between those two trees, but now I'm jammed up on that log. Good times. The entire class of senior has now passed through. I'm in last place in 4x4B. And now I have the women's class slow people in front of me. And so what's going to happen now is I'm having this conversation in my brain where I'm like, I screwed up, and now I can't get mad at other people being in front of me, right? I can't. But at the same time, I knew that this was basically a single layer track. Again, GNCC's been pretty good this year, but they need to start cutting reliefs into the track where some people can pass. So she gets, I think that's a she gets out of my way pretty quickly, trying to pick up the pace without. All right, so I go from last, and now I'm in a solid, I think, 9th place. So, yeah, we're not off to a great start here. So I think I'm in 9th place right here. Travis, I don't know what was going on with Travis. I haven't talked to him. He was pulled over to the side. I don't know. I'll have to message him. In fact, I'll message him right now. Like, what's up, brother? What happened? I'm 9th out of 10th right now. I got some work to do. So as you can see, because the camera's pointed directly at the ground, you can see this like slate and mud on top of the rocks. It took us a good because I did 3 laps. It took us 3 laps in order to knock all that shit off of there. You could also kind of tell I had a bad day because I only did 3 laps, but any day that you podium, you really can't complain about. Yeah, and there were days where not too long ago where I would have killed just to have had a 5th place trophy in C class. So we've now transferred. Now the first 3 miles of this course were all rocks. So now we're into like kind of the faster twisty section. And then I'll tell you one thing though, what was nice about it being a little slick, it was easy to get the ass end to come around, even though I'm struggling with the power steering. So, and yes, if anyone is watching this far into it, I will address the parking and all that other drama that went along with this race. So, the other issue with this race was it wasn't so much the 4x4 guys, it was the sport quads were getting stuck everywhere. And there was really no place for these guys to go. Even though I'm yelling at them, like there's really nowhere for them to go. And honestly, a lot of sport quad guys later in the race where things were kind of shaping up, they weren't moving. But there's very few places in order for them to move. This right here coming into here was almost like a swamp. The sport quad's really dug himself in deep, and you can kind of see on the ground how it's like mossy. There's like a moss. It's like a soft, it's really soft, like loamy dirt. I've only been to Tennessee once to go to Dolly World, so it's not like I can tell you how the terrain is. So, all right, let's since nothing's really happening here besides me blowing out ruts, is so the big controversy, right, was GNCC was like, yo. So I'll tell you my experience. So this ride is like a 12-hour ride for me one way, and I had taken off from work and I had gone down to camp there the night before. Now, this year I'm not taking a camper with me because I'm too busy with work. So Seegers was nice enough to bring my stuff down with me, so all I had to do was get a hotel room. But if you know, a year ago, if I was taking my camper with me, would have been in big trouble because GNCC closed. It was not allowing people into the facility until 9 the next morning, and then at 9 the next morning they're like, hey, how about if you know, don't rush in, right? So now there's a rumor going around that there were 2 other properties that were supposed to help with I got cross-threaded here. There were 2 other properties that were supposed to help. I just went from 9th to 8th. Steve was on the side there. There were 2 other properties that were supposed to help with this race, and that something happened. It got sabotaged. Now, here's what I will tell you. I got to the track around 11 o'clock on Wednesday. They were turning people, or the police were turning people around on Friday, right? They were telling people, you know, go back to Monterey, the main town. Don't come back until we have something going on. Until we have the proper amount of parking going on. And what I did notice was GNCC, or the track owner, were bringing in truckloads of rocks, like gravel, and they were using the loaders to put the gravel down. I guess it helps with traction and stuff like that. So there were a lot of campers that were instantaneously sinking, and the thing is that it had stopped raining from the night before. It wasn't, you know, we had a couple spritzes here and there, but there were campers like Class A's coming in, sinking immediately. So then the earth movers, or whatever you guys call them, they had to come in and they had to move them. Then the moto vans started coming in. And the moto vans, they started sinking. Same thing with the toter homes. Now, again, I don't know why you need to bring a toter home to the track if you're racing a dirt bike. I don't get it. But there's 2 problems going on here, right? There's 2 issues. There's people are bringing way bigger trailers to the track than they need to, and GNCC refuses to park people, right? So I've said to GNCC, like, why don't you park spectators in one spot, and then there needs to be like a parking attendant to reel these people in, because all right, so I think I'm in 7th now. That was That was Isaac's kid. Isaac Garcia's kid. Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, I've noticed, like, it's, and this is recent. This is within the last 3 years or so. And don't get me wrong. I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm not. If you do this, great. But there's people when they don't like other people like parking next to them when they can. And I'm all about reserving spots because I've done it in the past. But they reserve like a football field worth of reserve spot. The other thing too is people will come there with their trailer and they put out like a grazing yard for their dogs, right? There is a deployable fence now for your dogs, where it's the size of another camper, and then there's like a baby pool, and and I like animals and I like kids, but if I know the name of your kid or the name of your dog by the end of the weekend, that's fucking annoying, right? And on top of the fact is you're taking up fucking spots that was one of the reasons we can't get new tracks. So I don't want to bash GNCC too much because they tried, right? They tried to find us a new facility. They did the best they can. Whether or not the other landowners fucked them over at the 0 hour or not, I don't know if that's true, but usually there's always some sort of truth to every word. The cops were giving them a hard time, and the day of the race, things kind of went pretty good. I didn't like this track, and I'm not going to sit here and bash it because they did exactly what I have been bitching about, which is go out and find another track. So despite my distaste for wanting to race here, I applaud them for going out and doing what they say is next to impossible. However, I will say that there was next to no parking at this race. I don't know if it was because there wasn't enough land, or I don't know if it's because people, like I just said, take advantage of the parking situation and then just are like, hey, I'll park the fuck wherever I want, and with my 25 dogs and my kiddie pool and slip and slide and my ancillary, like, I'm gonna tow in a toad and then put the toad next to my trailer too. By the way, if you don't know what a toad is, it's one of those like big trailers towed behind like a Jeep. Now, you can't tell me that they forced. We managed to make something work with such little parking that we can't do a New York race. You can't tell me. There are plenty of really good tracks in the state of New York that we could race at. There are plenty of racers in New York who are dying to race at GNCC. There's Unadilla, and there's a couple other Niowa style. We had GNCC Tomahawk, we had GNCC Black Sky, we had GNCC Unadilla, all which were in New York, all which were good tracks, and for whatever reason, we can't go back there now. If it's because of parking, then I just gotta call bullshit, because you guys, GNCC did a great job this weekend with somehow getting things done. So, but I don't want to do Ironman twice a year. You know what I mean? Like, the next race is Ironman. I don't really want to go. The only reason I'm going is because I'm in a points race right now, where I can't be dropping races, right? Because right now my lowest drop is a 4. All my other placements are a 3rd. So, and I know I either, if with a little bit of luck, and if I keep my program together the right way, I can get a win or at least a 2nd place. If I can get a win or a 2nd place, it's going to be difficult for anybody else. Plus, here's the thing, right? We have about 4 or 5 guys, right, that actually belong in this class, all around the same speed level. who are making things interesting when it comes to racing. And I'll be happy to just sit in that like midsection right there and keep taking points away from guys like constantly trying to get first to catch up, because they're going to be eating trees and shit like that. I'll just cruise, you know. So this is the second half of the track, and as you can see, it's rocky, it's bumpy. There was a lot of stuff that, you know, I didn't get a chance to look at my skid plate yet, but I guarantee you there's some nice there's engravements in the bottom of my skid plate. The second and third lap, there were just broken quads everywhere. It was like a graveyard. The one fast section that we had already kind of passed through, there were, I don't know if that was, and I think I just moved up again. I think that was Josh that was broken on the side there. So I think I'm in 6th now. I don't know if I catch anybody else. Let's see. Do I catch? My first lap I go through in 5th. And oh, Josh hasn't broken yet. So I passed somebody. Might have been Corey. I will say this is nice this year. Everyone in our class is cool. I mean, I've always been pretty good with that. There's always been like some really like people in the class and stuff. I'm really struggling with the power steering here. The power steering. The only thing that was nice about the track being slick is the power steering, just a little bit more manageable. So, as you can see, this is one of the more faster sections of the back half of the track. This track has a lot of potential. If it wasn't so tight, didn't go through like kind of a mud bog. It'd be a good time. They had us go through like a barn. You can see that the landowner did, you know, I think the landowner is like a GNCC guy. So, getting him, that's a guy in senior. Getting him on the rotation. I can only, you know, that's the thing. If someone is not in it for the money and they actually enjoy the sport, then, you know, we can have a good time. Now, this section right here, like, see how the quad went sideways like that? It was a lot. You can't tell from the video. It was a lot scarier than it was. So somehow I go through the finish line in 5th. So right now Steve is broken. Let's see who's behind me. I passed Isaac. I passed Travis. Mark Ansley's in front of me. He brakes, I pass him. Corey brakes. And I stay basically 30 seconds behind, a minute behind first the entire time. I do run into some bottlenecks, it slows me down, but, you know, such is racing. Consistency is going to be key with this. That's, you know, kind of all there is to it. I got a new sticker kit in case you can't tell. It's very shiny. I was told that you could see me on the other side of the track. There wasn't any really drama with this race. There hasn't been any drama really all year, thank goodness. It's been a pretty rock solid year except for the weather. The weather really hasn't been that kind to us, but you know, any day you're on the quad is a good day. All of my friends did really well. Cody won. Brian Hatfield won. I podiumed. Katie Wharf podiumed. Seegers didn't kill himself in pro. Didn't finish last. So yeah, I will fix my camera for next race and maybe have some decent footage. If you actually watched all this, I appreciate it. I cut this race off when I get to first place, when I catch first place, and after that I really don't want to watch the rest because it's just going to frustrate me. So yeah, again, overall good time, decent enough track, a little bit rocky for my taste, a little bit too much stuff you can break your shit on, but it was I mean, I don't know. They say snowshoe's the toughest. I don't think it's the toughest. I think Florida is the hardest race. As far as breaking shit goes, I would say that this one, this probably is going to be the one where people break the most. Mountaineer, people break a lot of stuff, and then snowshoe. You know, snowshoe, they haven't really changed the course that much, so we kind of go through the same stuff. Most of what is a problem has been kind of knocked down. I will tell you that I wish I did had my diff was locked in this. It probably would have helped quite a bit. Oh, here's the barn right here. We're almost to kind of like to the end. So the guy in senior he passed me. I don't know what happens if he decides to go a different way. Yeah, again, sorry about the whole deal with it. Again, I'll fix it. I have the proper stuff to fix it. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. I don't really have much else to say. If we go back here, I doubt we'll go back here, but if we do, I hope whatever politics are straightened out with the landowners and stuff. It has a lot of potential. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you are watching this, which I doubt anybody is, but thanks for everything, and thanks for the support, and see you out there if you're racing soon.